Buckle up because this video will probably be on the longer side. If you enjoy jrpgs, Dragon Quest in particular of course, subscribe to the channel. We are pushing to 1,000 subscribers. My name is Leo. I talk about Dragon Quest every week on the channel. So here's the plan for this video. I will talk about some things I'd like to see in Dragon Quest XII and discuss features I think could fix the game based on aspects I was not too fond of in previous Dragon Quest games. Then we will take a look at Reddit's opinion on this topic because I did a post and got a lot of responses. Let's dive in. Dragon Quest XII should have the monster arena from DQ8. Dragon Quest XI didn't have monster recruitment, and that was kinda lame, and Dragon Quest VIII being able to recruit certain monsters and use them not only in the arena, but for battles as a whole was so useful. You wouldn't have to waste your resources on weak or average enemies, just call out your monster team to fight for you. Not to mention, it's just epic seeing the nod to the Dragon Quest Monsters spin-off. Next up, I believe Dragon Quest XII should have party talk. But not the party talk we see in Dragon Quest XI. I'm talking about the level of depth we see in the DS remakes of 4, 5, and 6. It was spectacular. I am the type of person that wants to speak with his party members, find out more about them, hear what they have to say, etc. And it was cool to hear Deborah's opinion after talking to literally any NPC in DQ5. She always had something new and different to say, and I hope DQ12 has this level of depth when it comes to party talk, because to be honest, I'd really like to see something like supports from Fire Emblem or social links from Persona 5, but I feel like Square Enix and Armor Project are not going to go that route, so I just want fleshed out and detailed party talk. I would love to learn more about the characters that I'm questing the world with. Another thing I'd love to see in Dragon Quest XII is being able to change who you roam the world with from your party members. In Dragon Quest VIII, you could run around as Angelo, Jessica, but in Dragon Quest XI, you are stuck moving around as 11. A small grievance, but I want to see it happen. Alright, so this is the last thing I'd like to see in DQ12. So let's just ignore the fact that there are many game franchises like the Tales of games, Final Fantasy, Xenoblade, etc. that are successful without adding this mechanic. Dating sim elements. Now listen, hear me out, alright? Fire Emblem Awakening brought success to the FE series, a franchise that wasn't doing too well sales-wise, through dating sim aspects, albeit multiple other things contributed to the success of Awakening, of course. But being able to pair up units in marriage mid-game is so nice. I love that stuff. Has me feeling all fuzzy inside. Yes, I just said that, no regrets. Now, Dragon Quest is in no way struggling sales-wise. Dragon Quest XII has been confirmed, of course, along with a plethora of other projects. I'd say Dragon Quest is actually in its peak in terms of popularity right now because of Dragon Quest XI. But I can't help but think to myself, will they add dating sim aspects to Dragon Quest XII? We've gotten to do some of this stuff in the DS version of Dragon Quest V, where you could choose between 3 wives partway through the game and have kids. That's the most similar thing we've gotten to Fire Emblem Awakening and something like Persona 5, where you can romance characters mid-campaign. In games like Dragon Quest VIII and XI, though, you have to wait until the very end of the game to marry or get with a character you like. Of course, I prefer the way romance is handled in something like Dragon Quest V. Now, could Dragon Quest XII have a mid-game romance like that? I'd say there's actually a good chance. We have that vague quote from Yuji Horii that DQ12 will be a Dragon Quest for adults. You've probably heard that quote hundreds of times, because there's literally like no information on this game. That line could mean a variety of different things, and more dating sim stuff could be one of them. But let us look at what Reddit wants to see in Dragon Quest XII. I love hearing Reddit's opinion because I've only beaten 3 Dragon Quest games, and of course I've read Dragon Quest Dai and watched the anime. Some people on Reddit have beaten every Dragon Quest game and have very interesting insights into the franchise. So let's read and discuss some comments, shall we? I'm going to read 3 comments and then group them under the same conversation, as they all fall under the same topic I want to get to. Bring back vocations and the way they worked in DQ 6 and 9, and let us change our vocation on every character, and while you're at it, tweak some of them and add new ones. That adds so much replayability and freedom. So I haven't seen anyone mention this. Allow any character to wield any type of weapon, even if they get no bonus from it. I'm fine with the skill point system from 11, but I do wish sometimes I could just stick a boomerang on everyone. Can we go back to tension from Dragon Quest VIII? The pepped up system from Dragon Quest XI is dumb. So I read these comments, and the first thing that comes to my head is, how can you make turn-based Dragon Quest combat exciting and engaging? Of course, this is something that will differ from one person to the next, and these first 2 comments on vocations I find very fascinating. As you know, I have played DQ 11, 8, and 5. None of these games have a freedom-oriented vocation/class system, but I have played games with those features like Fire Emblem 3 Houses and Xenoblade 3, 2 of my favorite video games ever. So I do think having a vocation system where any character can wield any weapon type or have skills from previous classes attained carry over is a way to make turn-based combat a thrill to play. I love having more resources in an RPG. Now for that last comment I read, I agree with it. I actually like DQ 8 tension over DQ 11 pep. I liked the sense of control with tension, whereas pep activates in certain moments in battle. However, as a combat system mechanic/gimmick, I think they're both just okay. Dragon Quest never really goes too crazy on battle mechanics because it's intended to be a more vanilla experience naturally. However, I'd love to see a Dragon Quest take on a break or knockdown system, even if it's simpler in concept. If you don't know what that is, a quick explanation is breaks are from Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4, and knockdowns are from Persona 5. They essentially encourage the player to make the enemy vulnerable for a period of time to capitalize for greater damage. That's an oversimplification. In truth, both those games go about doing that in very different ways. The point is, the combat in those games are very fulfilling and fun. From interviews, we do know Dragon Quest XII will make changes to the typical command-based battle system, so we'll see what mechanics and gimmicks they'll add to shake up DQ, but the break/knockdown stuff I mentioned would in my opinion be one way to make turn-based combat exciting. But let's move on to the next Reddit comment. Next female party member to use the allure tree needs to be a proper W word, and not like my responsible older sister. It's weird. You know, you do have a point. Jade doesn't seem like the type to give puffs to monsters. I mean, she judges Rab for his adult magazine collection, but with the allure tree, she's doing just that. Dragon Quest VIII also literally just had a sex appeal skill tree for Jessica. To be honest, I've never thought about it too much. I usually just don't invest too much into those skill trees, but I could see how it could bother someone. Jade or Jessica using either of those paths is out of character, but it's a Dragon Quest thing. I mean, really more just like a JRPG thing. There will always be a character that's designed to be attractive, and she will probably do something out of character. I do think that having a female character that is obviously a little parched, you know, a little thirsty, get a skill tree like this would be cool though, because then it doesn't contradict the character as much. I don't think it will happen, but who knows? Dragon Quest XII is supposedly a game for adults. Let's see what Yuji Horii surprises us with. Okay, so the next 2 Reddit posts. The music in 11 wasn't great. It was primarily retreads of songs they've been using for decades. I like the Dragon Quest soundtracks, but the music was boring me to tears in 11. A large, varied soundtrack. Dragon Quest games have gotten longer, and the music has remained the same and has gotten super repetitive. No reason why DQ8 should have the same overworld music throughout the entirety of the game with different biomes. These are some valid complaints that I understand. First, we have to pay respects to Koichi Sugiyama, composer for the Dragon Quest series. He has passed, so rest in peace. My take on Dragon Quest soundtracks as a whole is they're okay. Obviously, there are some exceptions, like the Dragon Quest III adventure theme is a banger, but most of the tracks are decent and I don't find them horrible. However, I'd say they don't stand out, which is a complaint, but at the same time I understand Dragon Quest is meant to be a more simple and humble tale of adventure, and I think the music reflects that. The music isn't stylish and pops out like Persona 5. Some of those battle themes in P5 make you want to groove out. Now, from what I've read on articles, apparently Sugiyama most likely finished his work on DQ12 before he passed away. So if you didn't like Dragon Quest XI OSTs, you might not be too thrilled. One thing I'd love to see is Yuki Hayashi tracks in a mainline Dragon Quest game, because the OSTs in Dragon Quest Dai are spectacular. You all already know how I feel about that. And that's it. If you want to read the rest of the replies on my Reddit post, there will be a link in the pinned comment. Thanks a bunch for watching the video. Till the end, you're legit. Keep playing Dragon Quest, and I'll talk to you next week about Dragon Quest. Then again, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna make a video on Beat the Vandal Buster, because I'm impassioned to just make a video on Beat the Vandal Buster. So that'll probably be a thing that I talk about. So yeah, no promises though. I'm very sporadic. Who knows what the next video will be? But anyways, peace. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers, and bye.